You've seen it. A beautiful skirt, lovely fabric, great color. And yet, something about the whole outfit just feels off. Not wrong exactly, just not quite right. And you can't put your finger on why. Here's the truth. It's almost never the skirt. It's small, invisible mistakes that quietly undermine even the most beautiful piece. Today we're going through 7 skirt styling mistakes that are working against you, and exactly how to fix everyone. Because the women who always look effortlessly polished, they simply know what to avoid. Mistake number 4, by the way, transforms your entire silhouette. Let's get into it. Mistake number 1, pairing skirts with the wrong shoes. Let's start with shoes, because this is where so many beautiful skirts are quietly sabotaged. You've probably noticed it on others without quite knowing why the outfit didn't work. The skirt was lovely, but something about the overall look felt heavy, or disconnected, or just slightly off. 9 times out of 10. It's the shoes. The wrong shoes don't just clash with a skirt, they fight against it. They cut your leg line short. They add visual weight at exactly the wrong place. They take an elegant outfit and drag it downward. Chunky trainers with a midi skirt, heavy ankle boots with anything flowing, sporty sandals with a beautifully tailored A-line. These combinations work against you, no matter how much you paid for the skirt. What actually works is clean lines, shoes that continue your silhouette rather than interrupt it, a pointed toe flat, a simple heel, a barely there sandal with minimal straps. Nude or neutral tones close to your skin create the illusion of a longer, leaner leg, and that changes everything. One more thing worth knowing. Ankle straps. They're beautiful on the right shoe, but they create a horizontal line across the ankle that shortens your leg visually. If height and length matter to you, it's worth bearing in mind. Match your shoe to the mood of your skirt. Sleek with sleek, soft with soft. Let the shoes finish the outfit, not compete with it. The right shoe doesn't just complete a look, it elevates it. Mistake number 2, ignoring top proportions. The shoes are sorted. Now let's move up, because the top half is where outfits quietly fall apart. You've probably experienced this. You find a skirt you love, you pair it with a top you also love, and somehow the two together just don't work. Separately, both are beautiful. Together, something's missing. That's proportion. And it matters more than most women realize. Here's the pattern I see most often with skirts. A full, flowing skirt paired with an equally loose, oversized top. And the result, even with lovely pieces, is a silhouette that reads as shapeless. The eye has nothing to hold on to, nothing to define you. The principle to remember is this. When your skirt has volume, your top needs structure. When your skirt is fitted and sleek, your top can have a little more ease. But loose over loose, that's where your shape disappears entirely. And there's one specific length to be wary of, a top that ends right at the widest point of your hip. It's the most common proportion mistake I see, and it's doing nobody any favors. Go shorter, tucked or cropped just above the waist, or go longer with intention. That mid-hip length simply adds width where you don't want it. For most skirts, defining your waist is the answer. A gentle tuck, a half tuck, a top that finishes at your natural waistline. You don't need to be fitted. You just need the eye to see that a waist is there. Proportion between your top and your skirt is what separates elegant from effortful. Get this right, and everything else falls into place. Mistake number 3, wearing the wrong length. Length is one of those things that looks like a small detail and changes absolutely everything. You've probably tried on a skirt that looked beautiful on the hanger. The right color, the right fabric, the right style. And yet somehow on your body it just didn't work. More often than not, it's the length. Here's what most women don't realize. Skirt length isn't about what's trending. It's about where the hem falls on your leg. And certain spots are simply more flattering than others. The most common mistake I see: a midi that hits right at the widest part of the calf. It's the most popular length in the shops right now, and it's also the most unforgiving. That one spot visually widens the leg and shortens the silhouette in a way that works against you. Your sweet spots, and most women over 60 have 2 or 3 of them, are just at the knee, just below the knee, or mid-calf at the slimmest point. Not between these zones, at them. That's where the magic happens. Here's something worth doing this week. Try your skirts on and actually move in them. Walk across the room. Sit down. The length that looks right standing still might hit completely differently when you're in motion. The right length makes your legs look longer and your whole silhouette more refined. The wrong length, and even the most beautiful skirt, can look like it's wearing you. It's a small adjustment, but the difference it makes is remarkable. If you're enjoying these tips, give this video a like and subscribe to Rock Your Fashion. After all, style doesn't disappear with age, and neither does a confident woman. Now, let's continue. Mistake number 4. Not defining the waist. This is the one I mentioned at the beginning, and it really does transform everything. After 60, one of the most elegant things you can do when wearing a skirt is simply this: show that you have a waist. Not cinch it, not squeeze it, just acknowledge it. You've probably noticed how certain women always look polished and proportioned. Even in simple, understated outfits, there's a quiet elegance to the way everything sits. And almost always, it comes down to waist definition. That one detail creates a silhouette. Without it, even beautiful pieces can read as shapeless. The most common version of this mistake is a long, loose top worn over a skirt, covering the hips entirely. The intention is often to slim down or cover up, but the effect is the opposite. Hiding your waist doesn't minimize you. It adds visual weight and removes your shape. You don't need to tuck everything in. There are softer ways to do this. A top that finishes naturally at your waistline. A relaxed half tuck at the front. A fine knit cardigan left open over a top that defines your middle. A slim belt in a toning colour, worn loosely at your natural waist. Any of these creates that gentle definition, without feeling structured or uncomfortable. Your waist is your most powerful proportion tool when it comes to skirts. Define it softly, and your whole silhouette lifts. Mistake number 5. Fabrics that cling or wrinkle. Fabric is something you feel the moment you put a skirt on, and it shows the moment you walk into a room. There's a particular kind of disappointment that comes with a skirt that looked beautiful in the shop, and somehow looks completely different once you're actually wearing it. Clinging where it shouldn't. Wrinkling the moment you sit down. Moving in ways that feel unflattering rather than fluid. Fabric is everything, and certain fabrics simply work against you. Thin jersey that clings to every line and every bump. Stiff cotton that creases the moment you move. Synthetic fabrics with that faint sheen that reads as cheap in any light. These aren't just uncomfortable. They undermine the entire look regardless of the cut or the colour. What you're looking for is fabric that has both structure and fluidity. Those two qualities together are what create elegance in motion. Ponte knit is worth knowing about if you don't already. It skims without clinging, holds its shape beautifully, and sits well all day. Quality cotton blends that bounce back after wear. Silk or a good rayon that drapes softly rather than gripping. Before you buy, there's a simple test. Take a handful of the fabric, squeeze it gently, then let go. If it releases smooth, it wears well. If it holds every crease, leave it on the rail. Fabric quality is the quiet difference between looking expensive and looking otherwise. And once you start noticing it, you can't unnotice it. Mistake number 6. What's underneath? This one doesn't get talked about nearly enough, and it makes an enormous difference. The most beautifully chosen skirt, perfect length, perfect proportion, perfect fabric, can be completely undone by what's happening underneath. And you'd never know it was the problem. Visible underwear lines through a fitted skirt, a slip that bunches or rides up and changes how the fabric falls, shapewear that's slightly too tight and creates new lines at the edges rather than smoothing them. These are invisible mistakes with very visible results. You've probably experienced the opposite of this too. That rare feeling when everything underneath is exactly right and the skirt just falls perfectly, moves beautifully, sits the way it's supposed to. That feeling is entirely achievable, every time. The foundation pieces that make the difference are simple. Seamless underwear in a neutral tone, not cotton briefs under anything fitted or fine. A proper half slip for skirts that are sheer or lightweight, and if you wear shapewear, the right size matters more than you think. Too small creates the very lines you're trying to avoid. These pieces aren't about changing your body. They're about giving your skirt the foundation it needs to drape properly, to move elegantly, to do what it was designed to do. When the foundation is right, the skirt looks effortless. And effortless is always the goal. Mistake number 7, busy patterns and overwhelming prints. And finally, let's talk about prints. Because this one is really about refinement, about the quiet confidence of knowing exactly what works for you and not needing a loud pattern to do the talking. You've probably tried on a printed skirt that felt exciting in the shop, and somehow less so once you were actually wearing it out in the world. Large florals, bold tropical prints, bright busy geometrics with multiple colours competing for attention. These prints have enormous energy on their own, but on the body, especially after 60, they can overwhelm rather than enhance. When a pattern is too large or too busy, it becomes the first thing people see. Not you, not your elegance, not your presence. The print takes over, and you disappear behind it. Busy prints also fragment your silhouette. Instead of the clean, continuous line that creates a polished look, the eye is pulled in multiple directions at once. What reads as truly refined is restraint. Small-scale prints in muted tonal colours. A delicate floral in dusty rose and ivory. A classic fine stripe. A subtle geometric that adds interest without noise. These prints work with you rather than competing with you. They add personality without overwhelming it. A simple question worth asking when you try on a printed skirt. Does this feel like me, or does it feel like a costume? That instinct is usually right. The most elegant women aren't necessarily wearing the boldest prints. They're wearing exactly the right one. So there we have it. 7 skirt styling mistakes that are quietly working against you, and exactly how to fix every one of them. None of these are expensive changes. They're considered ones. And that's really what style after 60 is about, knowing what works and wearing it with quiet confidence. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from today? I'd love to know. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to Rock Your Fashion. It really helps the channel grow. Until next time, stay confident, stay chic. And remember, style isn't an age, it's a mindset.